Alright, yes guys, thank you darlings. You guys that love me darlings. No, 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 no. Happy Valentine's Day darlings. Oh, da, 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 da. I love spreading joy in the world and doing amazing things for you guys, alright? Now guys, for me, I had always thought, with entertainment and all that, like, I'm very hard on myself, right? Like, we all know I do so many videos and I do so many things, right? And I'm like Madonna status, like, as a non-famous person, right? I'm like just as good as Madonna, you guys always say, and I'm very grateful. You guys always say I'm very good and super good. So for some reason, I'm always like, well, it's not like a engineering degree or accounting. I've always felt interested in those kinds of careers, and not that I can't. I mean, I can't do engineering and I can't do accounting. I've tried accounting. I'm very good at chemistry. I'm very good at physics, and I'm very good at statistics and calculus and math. But it's like you have to be really, really good, right? And I'm good at chemistry, but you have to be like amazing, right? You can't just be like, I did well in high school for those things. I mean, I did get good marks in university of physics and math, but I mean, you have to do all those things, right? So for me, it's just always been like those things were really like the bee's knees for me. And I felt like certain degrees or certain diplomas in university were good. And even though theater and all that stuff is something you take in university and can get a PhD in, you can work on getting a PhD in theater and all that. I just never really looked at entertainment as something that was something that you could really do anything with. Well, I know you can. I mean, Madonna makes more money than every engineer and every engineer and every accountant. She makes way more, like tons more. But for some reason, I just never really thought that the level of intelligence that you do as a career as a creator or entertainer is good, because I've always had people in my life that said, entertaining is good, but they always said, depending on who it was, they felt that it was, you know, kind of like brainless and you lose brain cells. Which I mean, to some extent, like when you watch Kim Kardashian or Taylor Swift, right? I love those two, but I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, they would say those people, you lose brain cells when you watch, and people just say that in general, not just that person, but people say that in general, right? So it's not like a big deal, but I mean, like the work that goes behind it. I mean, they came from privilege, they had privilege, but the work that goes behind it is uncanny, right? I mean, like, Kim Kardashian has to be physically fit all the time in order to do what she does. She has to be business savvy. She has to be presentable on camera. She has to know what kind of things to say on camera that's going to be entertaining. But the entertainment industry is such a hard industry to get into, and it's so competitive, and there's so many things, right? And even like her comedy, when she does like SNL skits, or she does like different things, right? She's doing different things. You have to really be focused, and you have to really know what you're doing, and you have to be really good at the jokes. Like, she's really funny in when she does comedy, right? And she's really good at reality TV. And we always hear people being hard on these celebrities, but I mean, really, I mean, these celebrities are rare. Mainly, and some people will say, obviously, people will say that because maybe they're not, to be as fit as Kim Kardashian, to be as gorgeous as Kim Kardashian, not everyone can do, right? So they feel that they're justified in saying that because they feel like, well, they're not as good looking as they're. So if they're not as good looking as they might think they don't have a chance to be famous. Which not everybody wants to be famous if they're not as good looking. Even if they're not as good looking as Kim Kardashian, you can be famous, but not everyone wants to be famous. So instead of saying, oh, it's easier, I lose brain cells, they'll say that rather than say, wow, she works out a lot. It's a hard job to do. She's doing amazing. Anyway, so I never really looked at it that like a really good way, but like now I'm starting to see like a very rare. I'm very lucky, and I'm super talented. So, so I mean, sorry guys. So, it's not something to be, it's not something to minimize. It's not something to minimize But I mean, for me, I just never really thought it as a career. I never really, I never. But the thing is, I have 2 degrees in university. I should be getting paid like a lot of money because I have so many degrees. Well, 2 degrees, but I don't, right? So it's a viable option. I'm very lucky to be able to do this and have the potential and be where I'm at, right? I'm very lucky. So I just never really thought it was like a skill for some reason. Even though you get a PhD in theater and I can get an honorary PhD in theater or get an honorary master's in theater because I'm super good at it, and I could get tons more money than engineers and accountants and other jobs like that. You can get so much money, but for some reason I just never valued it the way that those careers were valued. Like in my head, I just have the idea that those careers are intellectual, and what I do isn't intellectual. But what I do is intellectual. Like I'm a genius in a lot of ways. I think so. So I mean, I'm a genius in a lot of ways. But I mean, I just never really thought of it the same way. But you know what I mean, guys. Sometimes you have a career and you think this career is so nice and comfortable for me. I can do this all day. I can really spend a lot of time doing this, and I could really. It comes easy to me, luckily for me. So, I'm very happy about that. And I mean, the more famous I get with people subscribing because you guys love me now. The more famous I get, the more I realize, yeah, it's a good career. I'm very lucky to have this career. I'm very lucky to be this talented, and so I'm very talented and I'm very lucky. Plus, I'm very good looking, so it just comes naturally to me, and so that's a really good thing, and it is a major skill. Like, I just have this whole idea that theater isn't academic, but it is. That's the problem. I don't know why I think that way, but anyway, guys, I'm gonna start thinking more that this was like the best thing ever, and I'm gonna really love it as I emerge as a creator, and I'm gonna do very well. So, oh, by the. Yes, guys, by the.